Good afternoon. Let me share my screen here. Okay. And here we are. Welcome. My name is Adam. I am a SNAP Ed nutrition educator with Cornell Cooperative Extension of Wayne County. And today we will be speaking on making a healthy eating a part of your total lifestyle. If you notice the subtitles popping up now, it was a little late, and I hope this presentation is a bit more accessible for those who may need it. And if you happen to hear my voice cut out due to connectivity issues, hopefully you're able to read what I'm saying with the subtitles. They are, for the most part, accurate, especially when I speak slowly and clearly, which I will try to do my best. So, making healthy eating a part of your total lifestyle. We will go over the USDA guidelines here in a moment, introductions and icebreakers, and after that, we will overview my plate, have a stretch break, talk about my plate daily checklist, speak on nutrition facts labels, and wrap up from there. So this presentation is based on the dietary guidelines and physical activity guidelines of the USDA. The dietary guidelines provide advice for making food choices that promote good health, a healthy weight, and help prevent disease. All right, the objectives today. Identify 5 concepts of a healthy lifestyle. Identify the 5 food groups and a healthy choice from each. Identify 5 aspects of the nutrition facts label that make it easier for you to make informed food choices that support a healthy diet. Okay, so I introduced myself, and I would like for you all to introduce yourselves if you haven't already. Please chime in the chat box with your name and a food group that you are aware of. Feel free to speak up and use your microphone as well. I prefer the engagement, so feel free to speak through the microphone. And do you follow an eating pattern? You don't necessarily have to explain it, but if you care to, feel free to in the chat box if you do follow an eating pattern. Good. Okay, and this is my plate. This can be found at choosemyplate.gov. These are the 5 food groups that can be accessed on that website for more information. Fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. We're going to speak on each, some healthy options from each, discuss some options from each that you may like, and the amount from each that we recommend that we eat. So to start with the vegetable group, want to aim for variety, a variety of vegetables and a variety of colors of vegetables. Different vegetables provide different micronutrients, minerals, and vitamins. And also different colors provide different antioxidants and phytonutrients. So these are all nutrients that go beyond what you may find on nutrition labels or on your multi-daily vitamin. So what are some vegetable options that you prefer to eat either on its own or with a meal? Feel free to chat in the box or speak aloud. Broccoli, peppers. I love peppers. Awesome. Great options. We will move on to the fruit and then talk about portion and how much we should be consuming for fruits and vegetables. Fruits. So with fruits and with vegetables, it's important to select whole options. And those can include fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, canned and frozen, as canned fruit and vegetables and frozen fruit and vegetables are canned and frozen at peak freshness. So they are healthy options and alternatives. And depending on the season and quantity and how much, you may find that the different options may cost different prices. So being aware of your budget and what works for you, and just being aware of that and knowing what to purchase when you're at the grocery store and looking at the differences. So same thing as with vegetables, fruits, you want to select a variety and eat a variety throughout the week. The different colors do also provide different phytonutrients and antioxidants, and different vitamins and minerals in each, mainly vitamins for fruit, less minerals. So what are some healthy options of fruit that you enjoy to eat? Most people probably eat fruit on their own, on its own, but may certainly add it into a meal. Strawberry, grapes, great options. All right, so how much should we eat? A general rule, aim for 4 cups a day of fruits and vegetables. The actual recommendations for all the 5 food groups can be found at choosemyplate.gov and will vary depending upon sex and age and physical activity levels. However, we're going to discuss general rules for today so that everyone can walk away with a realistic rule and remember it as a general number. Some of the numbers can be challenging to remember depending on your age. So aiming for 4 cups a day is a great rule. This is for fruits and vegetables. You can split that up, 2 cups of fruit, 2 cups of vegetables. We recommend 2.5 cups of vegetables and 1.5 cup of fruit. Try to consume a little bit more vegetables than fruit, especially if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic. Try not to consume too much fruit or too much sugar. How much is 1 cup? Well, fruit juice, 100% fruit juice, is 8 ounces will equal 1 cup of fruit. So if it's not 100% fruit juice, it's not as healthy of an option and will not count towards your goal of 4 cups a day. With fruit, a large pepper, a small apple, a medium pear. These are all options for 1 cup. Another general rule, if it is the size of your fist, it is approximately 1 cup of fruit. Similar for vegetables, a medium potato, about the size of your fist, will count as 1 cup. Any diced fruits and vegetables that fill up 8 ounces, 1 cup in a measuring glass, will count as 1 cup. 2 medium carrots will also count as 1 cup. If you have more questions, feel free to ask upon that. You can also find those answers, more answers to this question on choosemyplate.gov. And furthermore, with vegetables, with leafy greens, 2 cups of leafy greens, when raw or in their whole form, will equal 1 cup of vegetables, or towards your 4 cup goal. So leaves take up a lot of space and they're fluffy. So if we're speaking about cooked leaves and cooked leafy greens, then 1 cup of cooked leafy greens will equal 1 cup towards your vegetables. So knowing the difference between it being cooked and just raw and how much you're consuming. If you're eating a salad, that's going to be the raw form of the leaves, and knowing approximately how much is in your bowl so that you know how much to count towards your goal of fruits and vegetables each day. All right. Moving on to grains. What are some common grains or favorite grains that you enjoy or that you like to eat? Feel free to chime in the chat box or speak aloud. This can include pastas, breads, rices, pastries, oats. So feel free to chime in there. Good. Wheat bread, bread. As you can see in the picture, some options like the corn tortillas also. Awesome. So one of our goals with grains is to consume half of our total amount in whole grain form or whole wheat. So to show you or explain the difference here, the difference between white bread and wheat bread being refined and bleached so that it's not whole grain. It's mixed with refined flour. And versus 100% whole wheat bread or oatmeal or brown rice and wild rice. So these are some options. So if you're not familiar with some of the whole options like wild rice, which is the black rice in the dish there below, that's another form of whole grain. Whole wheat pastas. So we'll talk about nutrition facts labels later, but with the ingredient lists, being aware of what ingredients are in your grain product, and if it begins with a whole grain option like whole wheat or oats or brown rice or bulgur or other wheat forms, then you know you're getting a whole grain option in. Okay. And with those grains, how much should we be consuming each day? Well, we want to aim for 6 ounces a day. And we'll ask, how much is an ounce of grain? Well, 1 slice of bread is about 1 ounce. So 1 slice of regular slice of bread. So if you have a sandwich for lunch, that's going to provide 2 ounces towards your 6 ounce goal a day in grains. As you can see listed here, corn tortilla, if you may not, let me move my screen share here. 1 corn tortilla is about 1 ounce, so 2 is 2 ounces, so that goes towards your 6 ounces a day. A half a cup of cooked rice, pasta, or oatmeal all counts towards 1 ounce out of the 6 ounces a day. So 1/2 a cup cooked rice, so 4 ounces cooked rice equals 1 ounce. And with cereals, 1 cup of cereal, or 8 ounces of cereal is about 1 ounce. Okay. Moving on to protein. So some things we want to be aware with protein. We want to vary up our protein routine with what we're eating so that we don't get used to eating one type of protein, which may inhibit us from the other options. And depending on what that option is, for example, we don't want to get stuck on high fat options. So some healthy options, some healthy recommendations for protein are: try to eat 2 days out of the week of seafood. Try to consume red meats or other meats that are 10% fat or less. Try not to eat processed meats like lunch meat or canned meats, as those can have added sugars and added sodium. And those are 2 variables that we want to try to reduce: eating less sodium, eating less sugar, eating less fat, towards maintaining healthy patterns. Beans and nuts are included, and eggs are included in your protein routine. So being aware of those options, especially if you don't like meat or do not eat a lot of meat, but want to make sure you're getting enough protein in each day. So with that, we'll go on how much protein each day. 5 ounces each day. And how much is 1 ounce? Well, you have some options here. So you see the small chicken breast. 1 small chicken breast is approximately 3 ounces, which is about the size of your palm. If you can fit the chicken breast in your palm, it's about 3 ounces and towards your 5 ounce goal a day. 1 egg equals 1 ounce, and 1 tablespoon of peanut butter equals 1 ounce. With beans, if you have a 1/4 cup of cooked beans, that is 1 ounce. So beans are dense and provide a lot of nutrition. And if you do not like to eat meat, you have other options: peanut butter, egg, and beans. So there are many options for you to vary up your protein routine. What are some protein options that you guys enjoy, that you enjoy eating? Chime in the chat. Feel free to say out loud. Pork, okay. I love ribs. Good. Awesome. Okay, moving on. Dairy. Some important factors. Try to choose low fat, fat-free options to your dairy, and be aware of the added sugars that may be in your dairy. So trying to reduce sugar, reduce fat, and sodium as a general rule. How much dairy should we consume? About 3 cups a day for everyone is a good general rule. Everyone should be consuming about 3 cups to ensure that we get enough calcium and vitamin D in our diet. 8 ounces of milk equals 1 cup, or 8 ounces of calcium fortified milk also equals 1 cup towards your 3 cups a day. The same rule applies with yogurt. 8 ounces of yogurt equals 1 cup. With cheese, since it is more dense, your thumb size, about that thumb there, is about 1.5 ounces of cheese. And that 1.5 ounces is approximate or equal to 1 cup towards your 3 cups a day. So a chunk of cheese about the size of your thumb will count as 1 cup a day. So what are your favorite options to consume with milk, with the dairy? What are your favorite dairy options? Milk, chocolate milk. So there's an example of an option that we may consider transitioning from. So chocolate milk may provide more sugar than low-fat milk, and the same thing with sweet yogurts, which may provide more sugar. And those are one of those goals that we want to keep in mind. Try to reduce sugar intake as much as you can. Again, chocolate milk is not bad for you. However, you may want to consider how much of it you drink and other options. So my plate planner here is a nice picture for you to visualize a healthy meal and a meal that's variety full. So here we have our protein with the chicken, our beans, which add more protein. We have our brown rice for a whole grain. We have half a plate of vegetables here. You may not eat vegetables a lot throughout the day, so if you can get a big chunk of it in a meal, that will probably be easiest towards obtaining your goal. And the fruit on the side, which may also be for dessert. In this meal, we have water for a drink, which is a healthy option. We could go in further on other liquid options, but water or milk are great options instead of sugary beverages. And moving on to reminders, making small changes every day can help you push towards your goals for each food group, knowing that you don't have to jump on this right away to make a difference. You don't have to meet all of your goals starting tomorrow to make a difference. And I do not want you to push for that in a manner that will leave you exhausted from doing so and unwilling to continue these healthy habits. So small changes, whatever you can do that's comfortable for you towards reaching these goals, and slowly building upon that every day. Just remember to eat a variety of options in each food group and consider your options, healthy versus unhealthy, and when or how much unhealthy items you may be eating. Okay, let's see, where's my mouse? There we go. We have a stretch break here. We're halfway in, so I'm going to play this 3-minute video clip for you to get up and get moving around, and then we will finish up the last half of our presentation. 3 minutes added to the video. All right, so we're back at it here. Let me see if I can, well, okay. My Plate Daily Checklist. So this is a great resource and part of the handouts that were provided to you beforehand. So if you have them handy, have them in front of you, follow along and review. This is a great resource to keep with you in the grocery store, to keep on hand on your refrigerator or bulletin board so that you can remind yourself of your goals and make action towards achieving those goals. You may even want to screenshot this, put it up as your background on your cell phone, the background of your messenger app, so that you visualize it often throughout the day so you can remember your goals and keep it in your mind when grocery shopping and when eating. So we have all of the goals listed here: 1.5 cups of fruit, 2.5 cups of vegetables, 6 ounces or ounce equivalents for the grains, with half of them being whole grains, 5 ounce equivalents for protein, trying to vary up how much, what proteins you're consuming, and 3 cups of dairy a day. Before we get into the right-hand column here, what are some ways that you plan on using this going forward? Whether you plan to bring it into the grocery store with you, or plan on putting this on your refrigerator or as a wallpaper in your cell phone. If you would like to affirm any of these goals, I would appreciate seeing those affirmations pop through the chat box. Feel free to write it out or say aloud to help you commit to taking action in producing healthy habits from this point going forward. So throughout this presentation, I have been discussing these components, our limits, these 3 components: sodium, fat, or mainly saturated fat, and added sugars. So we want to limit sodium to 2,300 milligrams a day. If you're following along, reading nutrition facts labels, the sodium limits, it will provide in milligrams, and it'll show you how much per serving. So tracking along how much you're consuming and having a good idea throughout the day of where you're at so you can stay under that limit is a great option. Saturated fat, try to keep under 20 grams a day. Saturated fats and sodium are unhealthy for our cardiovascular system and can help lead to disease. So that's why we focus on limiting these. And sugars, we want to limit our added sugars to 45 grams a day. Sugar in general, even though there are many natural occurring sugars in fruits and other items that we may consume, we want to focus on those added sugars. And the FDA has made it easy for us to do so based off the new nutrition labels that we have, and we will go over that here in a bit. And we also on here, we have our goals, our physical activity goals. So all of our goals are on this sheet, so it's a great resource for you to use daily. Be active, and our recommendation is 2.5 hours a week of physical activity. We will talk a little bit more about that here shortly as well. That's for adults, and children 6 to 17 years of age should move at least 60 minutes every day. So wrapping up some of the nutrition components, healthy habits, and progressing in some simple shifts, trying to move from high-fat dairy to low-fat dairy, moving from sugary beverages to water, and some options there, maybe even adding fruit to your water so you have a flavorful drink, or consuming carbonated water or sparkling drinks with no sugar added so that you can get the carbonation if you enjoy that effect from soda. Soda has a lot of sugar in it, so that's why we try to push away from soda, as water is a healthier option. And with pasta dishes, trying to stay away from those heavy cream-based sauces like Alfredos and some heavy red sauces towards some lighter sauce. Some options here is maybe add vegetables to your pasta and use oil and other seasonings to help flavor the meal and dish so that you don't have that high fat option from the Alfredo or other cheese sauces. So those are some reminders and simple shifts that we can apply to our diets daily. And now we will be moving on to the nutrition facts label. I have a poll here. Let's see if I can pull it up. We will polls down. Nutrition facts label. Do you use the nutrition facts label? Yes, no, or maybe. You will see this poll populate on your screen. Please select answer and submit. Thank you. Moving on. Here is our updated nutrition facts label. There are 5 main components that we have, and we're going to go over each of these. So let's start at the top. I'm going to stop speaking so you can see it here. Actually, I'll stop. Hide subtitles. There we go. Nutrition facts. 8 servings per container for this package. The serving size is 2/3 a cup. So for each serving, each one of those servings out of the 8 in the box, each of them are 2/3 a cup. In the next section, the amount of calories, you see 230 calories. That is the amount per serving. So for every 2/3 a cup, or 1 serving in this container, there are 230 calories. So if we were to consume 2 servings from this container out of the, or let's say we consume 4 servings from this food option out of those 8 servings, that is half of the package, and that is 4 times the amount of the serving size. So 4 times those 230 calories equals 920 calories. So being aware of how much you're eating and how many calories you're consuming to help you towards maintaining healthy habits and staying on track with a recommended dietary intake, which we will get to here shortly. The nutrients, moving to the next section. This is probably the most common component of the nutrition facts label for those who do use this often at the grocery store. You notice here are your macronutrients, your fat, your cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrate, protein, and knowing the breakdown fat to saturated fat and trans fat, which we should not be consuming any trans fat and should be limiting our saturated fats. And our carbohydrates, the fiber, which is the good carbohydrates, which are healthy for your digestive system, healthy for your colon. And then the sugars, which may be naturally occurring for the most part. And then the included added sugars. And those are what's added in after the fact and what we really want to limit. If you remember back, 45 grams of added sugars a day was what we wanted to stay under. And with the saturated fat, under 20 grams a day. And the sodium, 2,300 milligrams a day. And in this 1 serving of this package, we have 160 milligrams. So that's fairly low. We will go over percentages here in a second, but the next section down at the footnote is your percent daily value that tells you how much of a nutrient is in a serving that contributes towards your daily diet. And in this case, and which is recommended for most adults, 2,000 calories a day is used for general nutrition advice. So these percentages are based on a 2,000 calorie diet, which may differ for you based upon age, maybe sex, and how physically active you are. So let's talk about the percentages. A good rule, we have a general rule, 5% or less is considered low in that nutrient, and 20% or more is considered high. So in either case, neither or both may be good, may be bad. So if it is low, it could be good, it could be bad, and if it is high, it could be good and it could be bad or not as good. So to explore more upon that, if we look at our percent daily value for total fat, we see it is 10%. So we know that's between the 5% and 20%, so it's a good percentage, a decent amount to have in it, not too high, not too low. If we move down to the added sugars, you see with the 10 grams of added sugars, we have 20%. So those 10 grams of added sugars is 20% of our daily intake, which is borderline high. And if you were to consume 2 servings from this package, that would be 40%. So knowing how much you're consuming and being aware of how many sugars you're taking in towards your limit is a good idea. So in this case with the sugars, if it is high, that's not as good. So there's a case of being high as being not as good. And in this case, our fiber is at 14%, so that's a good percentage. If our fiber was under 5%, we would say that's low, and we would say probably not as good or not as healthy of an option, because more fiber is better and it helps your digestive system work properly. So fiber is a healthy nutrient to have in. Okay, moving on. We're going to compare some more nutrition labels here. We have Goya black beans and the low sodium option of those black beans. So these nutrient labels look almost identical. Can anyone point out the difference, either through the chat box or aloud? The sodium, right. And that kind of comes along with knowing that it's a low sodium can. If you see here, 18% for the regular black can of black beans at 410 milligrams, and that's just for a half a cup. That's not for the whole can. So if you consume 1 full cup of those cooked beans, then you're going to consume 36% of your recommended sodium intake in just that 1 cup of beans. So being aware of that and choosing the low sodium option, you have 6% per serving. So much less. You can have a couple of servings and still be under that 20% rule. Now, sodium, fat, and sugar are those 3 things where if they are high, we want to reduce that. We want to limit that. Whereas in this case, if you see our fiber is at 21%, that is high, but that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Okay, so this is a good option. If you cannot find low sodium options to your canned goods, rinse them out by adding water and draining to help wash away some more sodium. And still try to follow along with how much sodium you're taking in each day, so you know you're staying under that 2,300 milligram limit or under your 100% limit if you're adding up the percentages. All right, moving on to physical activity. Did it pop up? There we go. How often do you exercise? Feel free to chime into the box or speak aloud. Along with healthy habits from nutrition and eating well to maintain a healthy weight and prevent disease, we also recommend physical activity and exercise to help stay healthy. All right, 30 minutes a day, that's a good option. That's a good regimen. So for moderate intensity physical activity, we recommend that adults get 2.5 hours or more every week. And moderate intensity, some examples: walking briskly, biking on flat ground, and line dancing. And these are activities that are going to get the heart rate up, the breath rate up. You may be sweating, but aren't necessarily difficult, and you may be able to do for long periods of time. If you are someone who enjoys vigorous intensity activity, we recommend cutting that rule, that total amount in half, as vigorous activity or vigorous intensity is much harder. So you're burning more calories, you're sweating more, your breath rate is working harder, and your heart rate is beating harder. So the accumulation adds up faster. So we recommend 1.25 hours or more each week, and or more. You can always perform more. That's a good option. That's awesome if you can, but we recommend meeting at least the 2.5 hours of moderate activity each week, or 1.25 hours each week, or a mixture of both. And the vigorous activities include jumping rope, soccer, swimming laps, maybe sprints. So difficult activities, or high intensity interval training as an example. Good. So let's stick with it. I would love for you all to take away today these healthy habits and introduce them to your family and implement them every day to help make healthy habits. So every day and every meal is an opportunity to make a healthy choice. Keep that resource, that My Plate checklist, so that you may focus on what fruits and vegetables, grains and protein, and dairy you are eating every day. Vary up those options every week, and really push for those fruits and vegetables. I know those can be hard for people more so than the other options. We will skip the potato salad. And I want to thank you all for attending today. I appreciate you for being here. If you need to reach out to me, you can do so through email at my email there, arb398@cornell.edu. I just want to remind you, this is presented from SNAP-Ed New York, where our goals are to save you time, save you money, and help you eat healthy. I do want to inform you that USDA is an equal opportunity provider, employer, and lender. And before I let you go, I just want to let you know that we know that making a healthy choice isn't always the easy choice, but small changes can make a difference, make a big difference. So start today by getting involved with SNAP-Ed New York. The program is free for those who qualify or receive SNAP benefits. We want to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy. So learn how SNAP-Ed can make a difference in your life. For more information and to find your local program, visit snapedny.org. And this material was funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, and this institution is an equal opportunity provider. Thank you all for showing up. I will take any last questions now, and we have a few minutes to do so. Thank you.